third degree.
I can do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
You still got a lot of friends in Harper Tower.
Yeah, I was, cause I remember we
Thought it
did
was
some.
gonna
And you can give me your like insight.
No, she thought about doing the kitty parade.
So I'll say any suggestions.
But we're doing
Oh, I have.
Oh,
Was it
So we don't know
getting
what.
bad?
Yeah, somebody already said they'd donate those.
Right, the problem was.
If it doesn't conflict, we're
Getting
gonna go to tournament
serious.
here, watch parade.
Residents that-
Volunteer.
What tournament? Eat Park?
Not some that come, you just don't come out with how they go.
She gave up all.
How many hours did you
Yeah, she
get?
gave up her crowd last year.
You did it
Took
2
this year
days
off,
in a
she'll
row.
run again.
Oh, so the
Get
first
your
one will
neighbors.
probably be, we might have to just do like a Saturday to the next month and then a week.
Softball now.
Yeah.
You did Saturday, that was the last one.
Sound like fun.
Mhm.
And we had people actually sitting on
Still
their porch
doing the-
watching us.
And not help.
Flipping.
Go
And it was in there, you know how we did the curve.
You know, that time. She-
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and call the meeting to order. First thing we have on our agenda is the approval of our minutes from March 27th. You wanna make a motion to approve?
I'm sorry, approved.
We don't need a motion, okay. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and move on. Is this on? Keith Tyson?
1, 2.
Oh, okay, perfect. We're gonna go ahead and move on to our reports. The first report is the Community and Economic Development.
Well, from the Community and Economic Development unit. Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it. I often forget what that thing's sitting there for. First item I'll mention is that this is our last week before HUD does its performance test. You may, and then you may not recall that every year on or about May 2nd, they do a report on our level of expenditure. And we are supposed to have spent everything available to us, except for 1.5 times our normal grant. Our normal grant's about $410,000, and that would mean that we should have spent everything above around $600,000 or so. And as you also know, we haven't met that in many years. Good afternoon, sir.
I'm sorry.
That's right. And when we started off, it was, at least when I started off, it was impossible for us to do it because when I came on at the end of 2020, the city's grant was frozen, couldn't spend any money or draw any money or do anything. And it was frozen at the 2019 funding level after we got that funding. We had funds available to us at that time for 2015, 16, 17, 18, and then 19. As a matter of fact, I recall that the 2015 funds, if I didn't have them spent by October 1st, they would lapse and go back to HUD. So as I said, we had well over $2 million, and within a month after we finally got the funds freed up to start using them, we received the next allocation, another $400,000. So that was why it took us such a while to get there and took quite an effort, especially since most of the time, better than, I guess, half to 2/3 of the time I was by myself. But we are at a point now, in fact, I sent out the sheet that HUD sent to me today showing us having about 70,000 more to spend between now and the end of the month, which is next week. And I'm working on the draw tonight for 138,000. So it'll be the first time that we will have reached that level within a number of years. And it also will avoid us also being put in a special category where we have other consequences, so pleased with that. In addition, let me give you just a brief update. Project T is momentarily kind of come back for some revisions. You will recall there are two parcels of property. The big one is the Union Avenue side of the property down the center. And the second part is a Wells Street part that's up toward the front. The environmental review process found that there was some kind of hydrocarbons, like gasoline or something of that nature, that seemed to be flowing onto that property. And it appears to be coming from the adjacent property up front that we don't own. As a result of that, and the
Who
determined
owns that property?
James
What?
Watson, yeah.
If it's coming from that, then I think we need to enact eminent domain to counteract that problem is he building on that property?
Nothing that I know of yet.
There's something going on that property.
I noticed up at the front there, and I think it's where the gas company probably damaged the curbs and stuff when they were,
So what we
They had
need to
pipe
do,
stored on
can we contact them?
yes.
Let them know that there's a problem happening and that moving forward, we need to make sure we remedy. Because we cannot stop development.
Yeah.
For the sake of friendship or fellowship or peopleship. If there's something going on under that property that's leaking gas, that's a hazard to the community as a whole.
We'll contact them and try to see what we can get done. But in the meantime, what has occurred is that Project T has asked us to, they were planning on closing mid-June. They want to still go ahead and close on the large parcel, but they would want to not close and extend the option on the Wells Street piece, which is where the 39-unit apartment, 4-story apartment complex was to go. And I indicated to them that we're agreeable to doing that, but we've asked them to have their engineers prepare the alternative plan and bring it back to us so that Planning Commission can look at it, because to do that means they're going to have to design an alternate process entrance and egress to the main site, because originally it was going to be there where the old Agard Street was, that was abandoned.
What is there now?
Say again?
What is there now?
Just the Agard Street, the abandoned street.
No, I mean, what's on the property now?
James Watson.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Oh, it's empty lot.
So where they're building, there's nothing.
Right. There's
When
nothing
they-
on any of that.
When they put something there, it's gonna be something.
Yes.
Just have an alternate route to come in.
For coming and going, yeah. And that's part of what they'll have to show us on this design to address this change, so they can go ahead with doing that one part. In the meantime, we'll extend the option on the Wells Street part to allow us time to address the problem with the environmental issue and so forth, which we'll attempt to do as quickly as we can so that the rest of the project can move forward. That's where, and with that, I believe when Planning Commission approves whatever changes they make, we'll bring back and update the city commission on it.
Let me put this forth. I know I haven't been there a couple days. But the planning commission and the downtown DDA have to come back to us, right?
Yes.
And nothing that they do has any kind of weight unless it comes to the commission.
That's
But I
correct.
need everybody to really realize that, because you have entities that think they can solely represent the city, and really they don't. So they do have to come back through us to make sure anything happens that does happen.
And I'm making them aware of that.
I do appreciate that. And I want to say this too publicly, that if we did have downtown parking on 420, we would have made a lot of money.
Now you guys wanna talk about,
No, I mean, you have people coming from Iowa,
yeah,
Chicago,
we saw
Indiana.
it, we saw it years ago.
Thank you, Commissioner Henry, I appreciate you.
I appreciate y'all too.
Commissioner Henry, I do appreciate you. No, we had parking everywhere from people who were from everywhere on parking on city properties, city lots. And if we would have had, if you would have had 25 cents, 50 cents, that would have been money that would have been coming into the city that we could have made. And, you know, a lot of people don't want the city of Benton Harbor to have anything, but I'm telling you, if we're not careful, it's coming,
What is?
it's coming.
You're certainly correct about that, because we need revenue in the worst way.
Yes.
I wanted to also give an update on, sorry.
I just wanna kind of get a clarity on Project T. When it was, the building was there was environmental research done on it because of the water and a lot of other things that environmental search on it. The whole property. Before we bought it back from whoever we bought it back from.
And Wolf,
Okay,
all right, go ahead.
I think it was the county.
Well,
At
the
that
county
time.
brought it back from them for millions of dollars that taxpayers had, and then we had to.
Yeah,
repay
but
them.
the environmental research didn't happen until after the county got it. So now, that's number one that I know of. Then Habitat, their group, did another one. So then I had to think of back. Sometime last year, the gas company was running a line across from that, they were parked in that parking lot. And they ran a line across Pipestone all the way down into Ox Creek. So that's just maybe be a place to start.
Well, what I'm-
Whatever they was doing,
Can I
it was the
suggest,
gas company.
can I suggest this, that, City Manager Little look into the electric company, gas company. Because what's going on right now, and you'll hear it shortly, that they're trying to protect all the water, which has something to do with Ox Creek, Paw Paw River, Lake Michigan, all canals, everything.
Did we talk about that?
They're getting ready to try to protect all water. So whatever's going on, even with the fiber optics, even with the whatever has anything to do with water. And the good thing about the city of Benton Harbor, and I'm gonna say this loud and clear, is that we're surrounded by major bodies of water. This is a gold mine.
Let's get more.
We are-
than what it is.
Surrounded by, and when the mayor comes back, he'll do a report on it. But even that part with fishing, the United States of America is excited. Because what we don't know, that's $1 billion industry. Fishing, chartering, Great Lakes, that's $1 billion industry that we don't have a stake in right now, but it's not that we're not gonna have a stake in the future. Well, we can laugh now, but if we don't put our heads together to figure out a way to figure out how,
We've been trying to do that.
because you got entities that are planning on the backs of us to have, what do they call, water taxis and all these other kind of creative things that we could do
I hear y'all.
ourselves.
3 years later.
I'll tell you one thing, you still got life, you're not too late.
That's right, and that's why I'm.
So we're gonna, the mayor was in a strategic place. And a lot of information he's gonna bring back. We need to hear it and we need to know it. The water, Mayor Daley said this 6 years ago, that the new gold is water.
Always have.
And what we don't recognize, and an older gentleman took me in a plane, I don't mean to keep going, but
We heard
But
the
yes, you
story.
I'm gonna tell you one more time. He took me in a plane, and when we got over the plane, I started looking down at Benton Harbor, and Benton Harbor started looking like Florida.
See?
Started looking like when I went to the Bahamas, where you have the brown water and you have the blue water, and you have boats and you got everything that's going. And the only thing my mind said to me was, how is this benefiting Benton Harbor? And it sounds funny, but
It's
it's not.
not benefiting Denver Harbor.
But how do we make it?
That's what.
How do we come together and make it benefit Benton Harbor?
Listen to the citizens.
So when we came up with Harbor Shores,
No,
hold on, I know y'all got a lot to say. But why did we start making golf tees, golf balls, and make somebody make them do it? Golf clubs. If you're not part of the process, you're gonna be part of the regress. So I'm just saying that, and the mayor's gonna be a lot of dredging going on, gonna be a lot of things happening with the water. There's money coming for the canal. There's money out there, and we gotta strike, I'm gonna say this, while the iron's hot. Because if we wait too late, we might not get nothing. Benton Harbor is one of the very few cities that can say that the lead lines are gone. Majority of the lead lines are gone. Chicago said they got 400,000 lead lines. Detroit has over 200 and some odd thousand lead lines. I'm not talking about what I heard, I'm talking about what I know. They put it out there. They have that many, and the contractors that are here are going throughout Detroit, Chicago, to get rid of the lead lines. So we have to make sure that our people are going. And there are people from Benton Harbor who are going to Detroit. There are people from Benton Harbor who have attached themselves to these entities that are going to these other areas. And so, we might laugh now, but hey, if they got a career, let them have it. And let them go where the money is. I mean, with Cook Nuclear Plant, people travel with them every day. Am I right or wrong? All right, so that was your update? I'm sorry.
I would, just before going on the rest of it, like to say that he's absolutely right. If you study the history of Benton Harbor, that's how it all got started. It got started because back in 1912, the city commission here approved $5,000 to dig out Ship Canal. Back then, that was a lot of money. That canal and the ships that came into that canal to carry all of the fruits, vegetables, and whatnot from the entire area all the way up as far as Kalamazoo and a circle all the way back over toward Elkhart, came here to load those ships to take fruits and vegetables and things to Chicago. That's why you had the world's largest fruit and vegetable market here, for the same reason. Ox Creek came to be known as Ox Creek because when they pulled their wagons loaded with fruits and vegetables by oxen, that's where they stopped for the oxen to rest and get water and so forth. And somehow over the years, when it became more heavily industrial and there was less use for, and we even went through a renaissance where passenger travel, because they used to bring 100,000 people into Benton Harbor on cruise ships coming across the lake, all the way up the canal to Water Street. And people would walk these streets like they were in Chicago somewhere. But since that time period and the industrialization period, that shifted, and all of your recreational water activity and so forth went to the other side of the river. And in fact, when I got here, I found that there was some specific political forces that would not allow this city to get boat slips approved by the state and things of that nature. So he's absolutely right. And that's the one thing that we make the right moves and take advantage of it, can help rebuild this community. What I wanted to mention next was that Corner Wall Street is also moving along. You probably were about 5 or 6 weeks ago, we approved their site plan, and they are in the process now of preparing their construction drawings and so forth. So I expect that's going to move along pretty well. We are working on putting the plans together as to how best to expend the $1 million grant we have for the armory there. It's not enough to do everything that we need to do, but we want to do the best we can with it to make it as near able to be used as we can while we pursue other sources to get money to open and operate it.
Can I interject real quick? When we did the guy, Carlton Mays, he is in the boxing industry. Some of his music is in the boxing industry, and he said he did want to bring people like Floyd Mayweather, others, to put a boxing ring in there. So Carlton Mays Day next year, which me and you will collab with that, but he wants to bring the boxing industry back to Benton Harbor to put a boxing ring in there and have the boxing industry to sponsor that.
That would be great. There was one there on the second floor. The remnants of the ring and stuff are still there.
And he committed to bringing boxing industry down and putting something in there. So that was the aftermath of the day he committed that he wanted to do something major in the city of Benton Harbor, including boxing, as many of us probably don't know, but John Madden, NFL, the game that all these young boys play, it was his music that when you turn on the game, that's his music that starts off the game. So he was talking about bringing John Madden, NFL, and also the boxing arena to Benton Harbor, and whatever it takes to get that building back revitalized. I think that if we can utilize that young man, we can utilize Wilson Chandler, NBA, Troy Bell, NFL, whoever, Ernie Hudson, who's an actor, to put something into that building. I don't care if we got 3 floors and name every floor after one of them, as long as we can get it back where it's utilized. And that's from their donation. It's not somebody twisting their arm and saying, you gotta do it, but just to go along with what you said, the caveat of, because one thing that I noticed that people are hamstrung on is the armory. Let's get the armory done, let's do it. All right, so now we can get some investors, because that park over there, Whirlpool, was good. But let's find investors now to get, because that's what's gonna take, investors. But then it's gonna be sustainability. And that's the part that I know a lot of people don't talk about. But once we get that building upright, how do we prepare for sustainability? Because it's gonna take sustainability. It's gonna take a lot of partners. I mean, when we look at banking in Benton Harbor and around us, there's not a lot of places that are willing to invest. When you look at, I bank at another bank, and I won't tell you all the banks I bank at, but one is Old National Bank, Niles, who is favorable to doing things in Benton Harbor, things in Niles, things in Buchanan, things in the rural areas. And also, we need to find out what credit unions are willing to do things in our city, and then we bank with them. I know Ms. Santana Warren is having a commissioner, I do apologize, is having a town hall meeting. And wouldn't it be nice if we have all the players that show up? And be surprised how many young men don't know how to, I know they, we don't do checkbooks nowadays, but who don't have a bank account? They got chime cards, they got all these color kind of renditions of whatever banking, but how many don't know how to put money in the bank? There's a lot of them that don't know how many young men don't know how to tie a tie? I mean, a lot. That, so I want to bring all these entities together, and even with, I'm gonna help with her first one. I ain't gonna promise I'm gonna be there second. But with water bills, with other entities. So May 14th, 5:30
At the library.
at the library. We'll be there. But and that's all of us. And I'm gonna try to get as many entities as we can to come down. You know how many people can't find housing? How many people can't find food? And we talking about stuff that really don't even matter. So I will say, Director Little, City Manager Little, you're doing an excellent job.
Thank you, sir.
You are. I mean, you are riding the ship the right way. And our clerk, I want to tell you, you're doing a great job. You are, seriously. Can we just go ahead and go to number one?
Can I say something about that armory though?
Go ahead and say something about it.
Quick, brought to my mind on the armory. I can remember when I started working with Lowe's, maybe 2016, 17. They were looking into a grant, and they did find a grant that would be given by the military. I can't remember if it was through the National Guards or just military, that I think she said something like 300,000 to redo the armory. The condition they wanted was recruiting office. That was it.
Well, we're going to be.
So I don't forgot the information, because now it's been what?
Sir.
I think the original, what the store manager then was Jenny Cunningham. So I don't forgot the information.
Understand. Well, whatever we can find that makes sense to work with it, we're gonna try to do it, because the 2.5 million that we did not get, about half of that was for the purpose of handling the overhead, electricity, gas, water, the security, the necessities, insurance to operate a big building like that. And unfortunately, there are no shortcuts for that. We have to have something, some operating programs that have a source of money or private investment or whatever that can help us run that building. And just briefly, I'll also mention Ox Creek is moving along. I think we may have just gotten to an important point, and that is we've been hung up for quite a long time with an environmental review that HUD was requiring. And I think we've come to a conclusion, we found a way to go forward with that. So I just wanted to make you aware of that. That's sort of an update on the economic development front.
Do appreciate that. Again, thank you for your hard work and continued determination to make sure you've been on a better place.
Thank you, sir.
Resolution to accept the FDC. Oh, you didn't do,
That was economic development.
Parks and Recs, this is.
oh, you got a Park and Rec update?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's an update.
Well, go ahead with the Park and Rec.
So I just received, some information, well, actually this whole week, but I guess the latest information I received today is the damages that are being done in Hall Park, Union Park and other places. I keep getting these calls, why don't we do something? When it's really not us. And I think, Mayor Pro Tem mentioned this earlier. It's like I'm talking to y'all, like, what are y'all gonna do? Because we're not the ones that's doing it. The ones that's doing it ain't gonna never come in here. So it's hard to, suck that up and take it. But saying that, it's been on my mind for years anyway. To get the parks where they need to be, we first of all have to look at the reality of it. We don't have the manpower. That's number one. That's number one. We don't have the manpower. We have we have about 6 parks that can be used when you wake up. But we don't have 6 people to be at every park every day. We don't have it. If we do, somebody let me know we do. We don't have it. We have people who would love to use the parks, but there's different reasons why they don't, so that's really not in the rule. But to say that we need to do something to the parks, first of all, like I said, we have to face reality. We need a plan. How are you gonna do it? Since we don't have the employees, how are we gonna do it? It's easy to say, just go do it. I remember raking Hall Park, and I ain't seen nobody out there would be raking Hall Park. So how are we gonna do it? If we don't have the employees, what's the next step? You don't have the money, what's the next step? The next step is grab a rake, grab a bag, grab some, your grandkids, take them out there, park by park. If it's only the park where you live around, grab them, get it done. That's one of the plans. Second plan is, I can remember, I forgot what year it was, maybe a couple of years ago, when Mr. Little, he presented me a plaque or a certificate. And that certificate was given by Civic Plus, I believe it is. And this was their non-for-profit arm. And out of 50 states, they would pick 700 people. They would take the top 100 and give them a certificate. I was presented as being in the top 100 out of 48 states, 700 entries. I was in the top 100. There was a lot, and there still is a lot of resources, free resources, to maintain the parks. But the condition is you have to have a volunteer program. You have to have it. You just can't pop it up. It has to be city approved. And I believe it has to be city ran because, or you have to be in the city government in some type of way. But that's a plan. Third, only got 4. Third, the usage. We're talking about economics. He's talking about the parking for 420. Oh man, if we tell you how much money we missed, real short. So I was playing for Novo. They asked me to play from 9 to 9. They asked me to be there at 8 so I can make sure that they got everything I needed, the tables and all that. Did you know Main Street was already full at 8?
7 o'clock.
When 9 came, Main Street was still crowded. They had a line all the way up to 8:30.
4 different businesses.
4 different businesses now. You can stand in the street. You can stand at City Center Park. Here comes the economic part. You can stand at City Center Park and see all 4. You had 2 on your left, 2 on your right, 2 on this side of the street, 2 on that side of the street. You only had to cross 2 streets to get to all 4 of them. Parks are being underused. The majority of the people who bring in income in our parks, especially Gene Clark Park, are not for Benton Harbor. I mean, they are because they're a public event. But think about it. It used to be Iron Man. There's Mr. Lee Blues Festival, who brings in tons of people from other cities. I went to one, and we counted 15 people from Benton Harbor was at Mr. Lee's Blues Fest.
Thank you. What's the third one now?
That's the third. It's being underused unless we can come up with some sustainable, real family events, adult events. We're missing on a lot of money. The last one. Economically, how does that hit our pockets? Because events goes to the city, right? It helps the city pockets. Now, how does it hit the residents' pocket? You give enough events and they're on a regular schedule, you got summer jobs. Right there. Other than that, we're gonna have to face reality. Real quick, I'm done. 1, face reality. We ain't got the employees. 2, we don't want to spend the money to do it, to hire none. 3, we don't even have a plan. Well, I'm not gonna say we don't. Mr. Little, he knows he might be working on it. Volunteers, get out there yourself. And use it, but use it right. And just think of the long term. Maybe your great grandson to get a job.
Anybody have any questions on the report of Park and Rec?
I'd like to add a little bit to it. We have a serious problem, and it's a problem that all of the citizenry and people can help with, people in this room and other citizens outside. A few weeks ago, well, going all the way back in the last year, when after Whirlpool finished redoing the basketball court, we had some people drive up on it and do wheelies and whatnot that wound up doing like $18,000 worth of damage. Shortly afterward, and this was an act of God, that microburst of wind that came through blew the roof off of the baseball section there that had been done. That's about 22 grand to get fixed up. But then we had somebody run a car where a car had no business being at all into the building at Union Park and put a hole in the wall in the bathroom. Here about a couple of months ago, I think about that now, somebody set a fire in the concession park there at Union Park. Make no sense at all. We had graffiti at one point starting, and they tried to put on there. This past week, we had somebody light a fire to leaves up here in Hall Park. After the fire department went up and put the leaves out, somebody went back and built a fire under two of the picnic tables. Just destruction and damage unnecessarily. What we need is people to be on the lookout for it, see who's doing it, be willing to tell who's doing it, and then we as a city need to lower the boom on them and make an example, and we can stop that nonsense. I mean, it's nothing but total outright disrespect for the city, for the city's parks. This past weekend down here at Yarborough Park, I was down there yesterday, and was it early today, yesterday? But last couple of days, somebody has driven through the grass doing wheelies and left all kind of tracks in it. And somebody told me there was even a tractor, like the old haul tractor trailer truck, right, driving around on that grass down there. Now, I've already instructed the police department that I want them to start monitoring these parks and catch people doing stuff, everything, driving and parking on the grass. There's no sense in people parking cars all up in the middle of our parks. They don't do it anywhere else.
And to go a step further, we as a city have to come up with times. Park is closed after a certain amount of time. We have to close down the parks. They do it in every other city except in Harbor. You have to close, the park has to be closed after midnight or after 11 o'clock or whatever. Because it makes no sense for somebody to be in the park 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock in the morning and you won't want your kids down there, and I don't want my kids down there. I want my daddy, mama, nobody down somewhere after midnight. And these parks are lit up, and nobody cleans up behind themselves. We have to hire somebody to do it, and nobody down there fishing. If they're down there fishing or something, that's something different. But what's going on now, in a lot of these parks, they pull up after the club, and they have a whole nother session. And we cannot continue to have that behavior. No other place is acceptable but Ben Harbor. And I'm gonna say this too, Director Little. Everybody who doing this ain't from Ben Harbor. They're not from Ben Harbor. We're finding people dead from fentanyl and all that kind of stuff out there in the Union Park, and we found somebody dead at over here at Ebenezer Missionary Baptist Church. He wasn't from Ben Harbor. Had 2 needles in his arm, dead off heroin. No, and he went downstairs.
Oh, yeah.
They found him dead down there. He had 2 needles in his arm from fentanyl. He wasn't from Ben Harbor. So a lot of these things that are happening are people not from Benton Harbor. And then when they did the Black Lives Matter, somebody went on Facebook. The guy who cut the grass, his nephew who cut the grass for the city of Benton, who used to cut the grass for the Benton Harbor area school, said, let's spin out on Black Lives Matter when they painted the, seriously, it was on Facebook. So let's do willies on it or spin out around it and put tire tracks on it. He wasn't from Benton Harbor, he was from Coloma. And that was publicized and published that he wanted to make sure that, that painting that was done was destroyed. So a lot of things that are happening, the residents and the police department need to come on and stop it. And I'm gonna say this too. No longer can Benton Harbor be racetracks. Because people are flying down Columbus. They're flying down Colfax. They're flying down Columbus. They're flying down these streets that don't have stop signs in the middle. right there where you have the intersection of Pipestone, Weld Street, and Milton. They fly down the streets. And come out, any of them, you liable to get pinned. Somebody got killed, man got ran over and killed. You know, so we have to, the guy was supposed to do a presentation today, but I'm gonna make sure he do it next month on, the stop signs that they're solar powered. And when people are flying, it lights up like a police. And it also collects the data, how many people are flying down these streets. Because I mean, you know, I don't want to bury one of my grandkids. You don't want to bury one of your grandkids. With somebody flying down the street, and I mean, they're flying, they're ripping. Somehow I pull over because I'm like, maybe I'm driving too slow, and they just, and you know, and I hate to be somebody who's handicapped or anything trying to get across the street. The one woman got killed down here on Main Street on a wheelchair. They hit her, killed her. You know, so Commissioner at Large Kennard had her hand raised.
Yes, one of the suggestions that I think that perhaps if it was possible was to have cameras in these locations. Because the cameras will pick up a lot of information and time that the incidents occur. And it could be tied into the police department. So that might be an idea that might help. And I do know that at these stop signs, they don't recognize the stop signs and stop all day and all night. And they drive past those, seem like they speed up. And I've gotten so that I'm almost afraid to drive because I had a young man blew for me to go through a stoplight that made him go fast. Just kept blowing. And I said, don't you see this light is red? As soon as the light changed, he whirled around me.
Yeah.
So it's making us almost afraid, and we do need transportation to get from one place to another. So this is something that should be closely thought through so that we can have some peace here, our children, especially the older people too.
I know on Columbus Street, I get nervous when I see these kids with balls and they chase a ball in the street. Next thing you see somebody coming flying down the street. You know, it's not fair. That's not safe.
And we're gonna have to get control of it, and that means some police action, even if we have to ask state police come in here and help us with it. Because the more of these streets that we are repairing and making them nice and smooth, the faster and the more tempting it's become. And this town's small enough that it should be able to control that kind of activity, and we're gonna try to do that. We have cameras in some of the parks, and we're trying to do some refinement on that because we're not getting what we want to get in terms of results from that. There are cameras down there at Yarborough Park, and of course the cameras at Union Park. They just gonna adjust those cameras at Union Park to focus on the facilities as opposed to just the whole park. But what I've got to have is some enforcement action there. We got cameras, we spent a ton of money to get them. We want some results out of them.
Thank you.
And we're gonna get them.
I appreciate that coming from the city manager. Commissioner Henry, then the young man in the back.
The cameras, I love to follow the money. The money that come in the city and the money that leave the city. We spend a lot of money on cameras. They should cover 4.5 miles with the money and the places I've seen where the cameras are. So when the group of people were down on Union Park doing the spinnies and the wheelies, there's a camera right across the street at the recycling place. And it showed. I never found out who that person was. They know the car, they know, but I never found out if he got prosecuted or nothing. So yeah, it was evidence that he was there, but when I looked at the police report, I've not ever found that charge in the police report. So the cameras are there, and we need to use them. When they were shooting in Benton Township, they followed the person from where they shot all the way to where they was going with cameras. And so I'm saying that we've spent a lot of money on cameras, and now if we're still tweaking them, that's okay. But we need to really kind of focus on that part of the investigation. Because if you're in the big city, they can follow you wherever you go. And those
Right.
cameras do the same thing. So I just don't understand.
Anytime
What's
you got
going
Ring
on?
Central, I didn't know that they can access any camera. Police force can access anybody's camera they want to access. That Ring Central, those people ain't breaking in houses that much no more. You got that Ring Central out there. When somebody come up to your door, you see your face. And Comcast cameras, they pick up everything, which is good. So when you have a shooting, they had a break-in out there in Stevensville, and they followed every camera down that street, see what car it was until they got a license plate in the car. And they followed them all the way back to Ben Harbor. Young man in the back there.
I was just gonna comment on the city streets that are 100 years old or so, that are made from pavers. Those are aesthetically pleasing and naturally calming, slowing down of traffic. If we ever have a chance to restore those streets as opposed to making them smooth and fast speedways, I would recommend and hope that that could happen.
And when you say that, could you go a little bit step further in explanation? Because somebody probably is trying to figure out what you're talking about.
Well, we have a few. I think Pearl is one of our pavered streets.
Oh, you talking about with bricks?
Yeah, paver.
They're not
Classic.
just bricks.
That's what I'm talking about. Some of the work that was done on Pearl is now the piano, keyboard, concrete and pavers, which is sad and too bad the pavers weren't restored there. But I just suggest that it probably raises the value of the neighborhood. It definitely slows the traffic. Some may not like it. It can be done well and be relatively smooth. And I think there are benefits to it. I think probably local labor could be involved in the paving, as opposed to a big asphalt truck.
I would recommend that, and maybe put some speed bumps up.
One of the things for our children's safety, I think if we could also put something in place to keep them from playing basketball in the street. Because cars come down through and some people are intoxicated or just not functioning well in the head. And could hit our children that are out playing ball. That's fun to them, but that's not the place for them to be in the street with that basketball. They've been doing it for years, but it's beginning to be more so a threat to them because of I've never seen anything like it, like I see now. Just pass up the stoplight signs and go through the lights and whatever.
And I want to say this as a commissioner, Mayor Pro Tem, and all to commissioners that are here seated. When the police starts enforcing these type of things, we have to stand behind them. People out here driving without a license going 80, 90 miles an hour. And then next thing you know, they start talking about, well, you stopping our cars, what? We have to stand behind the police. If you don't have a license, if you don't have insurance, and I know it sounds bad, but if you don't have a license or insurance and you kill somebody, then the city has to pay for it. Or city residents going to have to pay for it one way or another. So we do have to support the enforcement of these laws.
Absolutely. And if you don't have a license and you don't have insurance, you don't belong on the streets in a vehicle. That's just the law.
And that's just what it is. And I know we came up with that thing with no chase, no police chase, and I'm with that. But my question is, somebody kill your son or your daughter, do you want the police to go after them or not?
You bet.
I mean, no, seriously.
It wasn't about
Yeah.
police chasing criminals. It was about misdemeanors and being chased for something.
The young man who died, I played football with him. I went to school with him from Johnson Elementary, way out there on Johnson School to high school. So when he packed me and him walked home together after football practice to Lake Street, I was hurt just like everybody else was hurt. But I do want to say that I don't want this to be a safe haven. And I'm not saying he did anything wrong. I'm saying I don't want this to be a safe haven for criminals. So as soon as they come to Ben Harbor, they say, well, we stopping chasing. And if they do something wrong to your kid or your son or your family, do you want them to keep on continuing to follow this person, or do you want them to stop so they hit the city lines and say it's over? Now, I think that other people treat Ben Harbor different. What's going on in Grand Rapids now is a problem. We had that problem 2 years ago, where the state police ran over the young man and killed him, smashed him into a building, killed him. We had that same situation, and Ben Harbor police responded in the right way. They let the officer go who ran over the young man on the bike with the police car. So, we have to pick our battles, and we have to make sure we do stand behind law enforcement. I know people say defund them, but if you defund the police, I don't want to be in Ben Harbor. Y'all start recall, do whatever y'all want to do. You ain't gonna have to recall, we can resign. I don't want I want a city without police. Because if somebody breaking your house, who you gonna call?
Jesus.
And if he gonna show up, but he gonna show up in a different way. But if I'm in the house, you have to call me.
You don't have to call him.
Resolution to accept the FDCBT grant for the City Hall building, parking lot, and drainage improvement project. That is a grant that we're accepting to improve the parking lot and the drainage project for the city of Benton Harbor. The city makes us better, and it makes the City Hall better. It makes everything look better, and it makes us do better, and we will get better. I don't think there's anything else to be said about that. If we read that, thank you for the application for the grant, and thank you that we going to receive the grant. And we should. Ms. Henry.
There is one additional point of information that I need to cover with that. That grant's for $110,000 and will cover the cost of paving the parking, the lot behind City Hall here, where you've seen the water standing and so forth. The lot on this side over here is gonna cost probably about that much again, and we'll need to pull that from some other source, and so that we can do it all at one time and be done with it.
This is no matching. There's no matching.
There's no match on it, no.
So you say this one, 110 is for,
No, the first 110, if you go down the hill back here,
For
Yeah.
drainage.
there's a
Okay.
lot down there at the bottom where the water stands all the time. It'll cover that, and we'll have to come up with the money to also do this side over here. So we get them all done at one time.
Thank you. I do appreciate that. Commissioner Henry, and then who else had that? I think I seen Mr. Duncan.
And right here.
Oh, yeah, the young man in the back.
I just wanna know, you're only talking about the lower parking area.
That's what that grant, that $110,000 will
How
cover.
many parking lot, spots are there?
They aren't just regular parking spots, that's sort of a holding area for the police that come in and out from down there. And I think,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
that's,
But then my second question would be, and then it's always been a problem down there with water. What are they going to do to fix that? $110,000. Doesn't have a whole lot of footage. So I looked to see if it says anything about the project, and it doesn't really. So my question is, what are the improvements in the water retaining that down there? So you're gonna do a drainage improvement.
they
That's
won't-
mostly of the project, because it's not a whole lot of footage back there for parking, so I'm assuming that the drainage issue is taking most of the money.
I don't know, it's gonna take in most of it, but they'll be addressing that too. They've done some work already on that to try to stop it from just holding it like that. But, they'll finish doing what they need to do to that and then pave it.
And that is whom? Through the chair. What entity is?
Well, what I've learned about the whole thing is that the way the drainage is going is there's highs, there's lows. It has the center to the drain in order for them to get it to a place to where the drainage goes one spot and they can safely park in other spots.
I
So what's
understand.
getting ready to happen is they're gonna improve the process of how it's being drained, because right now, if you go down there, you have water standing here and the drain is over here and the water's not getting to the drain. So what they're gonna do, they're gonna improve the process of the drainage, which means almost like you got a house, they're gonna slope it to the drain, and make sure that it's drained properly. So,
My question
what we
is
can
to
do
the chair
is-
is, who is they?
well, it should be the engineering for, I thought it was Ammermarsh.
They'll develop the specifications and then it goes out for bid. That's what
So-
government grants, you've always gotta do that.
Who is they that have already, is it Evermarsh that has already did some research on it?
What I do is,
Work on it?
through the city manager and the clerk, after we receive the grant, then what we'll do is we'll make sure they bring the plans before us so we can approve the plans, because it's not automatically done now. This is just to say we will receive the grant because we know we have a problem. We know we need to get this fixed. We know we need to get it done. But we can't put the cart before the horse. Well, let's get the horse so we can get the cart, and then we'll be all right. So the horse is gonna be this grant. We need to get the grant, say, yes, we approve getting the grant so we can fix it. Then it still comes back through proper channels in order for us to get it done.
Well, I just hate to, disagree with you, Chair, but this is out of order.
Well,
What, do I have the floor?
not yet.
Oh, then take it back.
I'm gonna tell y'all a secret. She used to whoop me when I was.
I'm
Her
asking-
mother babysitted me and my cousin when I was little. And so that's the reason I give Commissioner Henry so much utmost respect, because they were my babysitters and I love her. And I ain't told nobody that since we've been in commissioner, but yeah, I got utmost respect for Commissioner Henry. I'm still scared that she might pull something.
I'm just trying to make sure that everybody, especially the commissioner, know that when it comes to committee, background information is supposed to be given to us. We're supposed to know exactly what's going to happen to give our approval. And I understand we're just saying we want the money, but my understanding of our position is to ask questions. And that's what I'm doing.
Did you
And it's not,
get one of these? Did you get one of these?
yeah, I got one. I got one on my phone, on my computer.
Yeah, there's about 10 pages about this. It's grant there. From the Department of Treasury.
Well, I
to-
read what was on my
Yeah,
computer.
there's about 10 pages there.
I got it. But I did
Close
know,
out gas
I
station.
wanted to hear who the they were, since there is a they already. And if they work, they get paid. So where did they get money from to do the work?
That's a good question.
That's my question. And I'm gonna continue to ask questions and till I get an answer. So, and the last comment about it is, why do we have to suffer with our parking lot? Can we just have our public works go out there and dump some asphalt in the hole, smooth it down? Why do we have to have our parking lot look so bad? To wait on a grant? You tell me that our men cannot fix some potholes in our parking lot? I am sick of being disrespected.
They work on cop, no,
It's disrespectful for me to have to ride up through the parking lot and see it look like that. When the people were complaining about the streets, I'm complaining about the parking lot. So, and I don't wanna wait, I want our men to come and fix it, and at least take some of the pressure off of us. If we get another grant, let them come in and smooth it over. But take care of us right now.
Director Little, is there any way you can have Public Works go down there and fix that parking lot?
Not down there, but this piece out here
Yes.
where the hole is, we can, yes.
And can we get that done immediately?
No reason that we can't.
It's a new day. Tell you that. Mr. Richard,
Commissioner Henry asked the question. I was concerned about fixing the drainage problem before a new surface goes on. So if that's part of it, that was all I was gonna ask.
cool. Thank you. Any other questions on the grant, Commissioner,
I was just gonna do a motion to approve.
yeah, we support,
We
Commissioner,
don't do a motion.
no, just consensus, that's all. Mr. Duncan had his hand raised, I apologize.
You guys already agreed to it
No.
already?
We're gonna respect you as a city,
Citizen.
yes, sir. City resident. Thank you, Commissioner.
Will this be something that will happen? Oh, I'm sorry. If we-
Go on, sister, go on. I can wait.
If, this could be something that would be done quickly, because if you remember, when I did the, work out here and redoing the bedding area and cleaning up out here on the monument area, I asked them if they could resurface the parking lot. There was never any money. In between that time, they said we had an abundance of money. So now, will we have to address this conversation again in another 2 or 3 years? I would love to see something like this take place this year.
Can you put that down, City Clerk? Can you write that and put that down? You add that to, comments for
If I
What
might,
parking lot is that?
this one.
This one, I-
yeah, if I might, let me just kind of restate what we're doing so that everybody's on the same page, because I think we're getting too many pages here.
Like that when you come to the citizen.
Within the next week, I'm gonna have them fix the holes out here. That's just putting, blacktop in these holes. It's not surfacing the line. No, you don't have the ability to do that. Now, after we receive this grant, just like every grant we get, there is a standard process that there's not a lot we can do about it. And that is that we have a set of specifications put together as to the work that will be done. And those specs will cover the drainage, the grading, the underlayment, and then the surfacing and finishing. And what we said we're gonna be doing is we're gonna so that we don't increase our own costs. We'll have it done for down there, and we'll have it done also for here. And we'll pull the additional money that's needed to do this so that they can do the resurfacing of the whole thing at one time. And we'll be done with it. And as far as process, that's not nothing we need to waste a whole lot of time on. It's pretty much governed by law. We have to go out for a competitive bid and review those bids and make a decision based on them and have a rationale for it.
Appreciate that, city manager. Well spoken and well done.
So let me make sure I heard you right, Mr. Little. We're gonna seek money to resurface this one
And I
from
would-
some other,
Yes, like the income tax fund for doing, our infrastructure.
oh. Well, I take all that back. It ain't that important to take the people's money to fix our parking lot. I'll just go and park on the street if need be. I don't think it's that important for us to take citizens' money to surface our parking lot that is just, now that one downstairs is needed because it floods. But I take it back. Keep our money for the people and I'll sell them with the hole in the parking lot.
That is for the people. City Hall is the people's. All of this is public.
It's public, but it's not important. What's important is to have a key to the bathroom when you need it.
I tell you
That's
one thing,
important.
I was driving down the street hitting them potholes. I sure appreciate it now.
Oh, thanks for citizens doing that.
Bill, Tire,
Yeah.
making a lot of money off the residents. Good now. So thank you. We're moving that forward. Thank you for the consistency.
Can I have something to say?
Yes, sir. I do apologize, Mr.
That's how easy it is for citizens to get
No, sir.
involved in this place.
No,
And I want to keep bringing that up because it's just like that. It has been like that.
You have the floor.
Putting off doing this driveway down here is almost ridiculous. The thought of going any longer with that driveway like that, it's so ghetto. Thanks for hearing me out.
I do agree with what you're saying. And, I want every commissioner to know that we're gonna get it done.
Immediately is what the citizens want to hear.
ASAP.
Right now, that's what you said. Thank you.
Thanks.
MDOT performance resolution for municipalities. Number 2, everybody, if you don't have a packet, please, there's a stack of them right there, so you will know what's going on, what we're talking about. I think that, I've read it over, and, I have no problem with it. If you read it, it's something that we have been asking for, performance resolution for municipalities. If any work performed for a municipality performed by a contractor, the municipality shall require its contractor to hold harmless and defending litigation. State of Michigan Department of Agents and employees against any claim of damages to public or private property with injuries to a person arising out of the performance of the work, except for claims that result from sole negligence or willful acts of the department until the contractor achieves final acceptance of the municipality failure of the municipality require its contractor to indemnify the department as set forth above shall be considered a breach of its duties to the department. Any work performed by the municipality by a contractor or subcontractor will be solely as a contractor for the municipality and not as a contractor or agent of the department. Department shall not be subject to any obligations or liability by the vendor and contractor of the municipality or their subcontractors or any person not a party to permit without the department's specific prior written consent to notwithstanding issuance of a permit, any claims by any contractor or subcontractor be sole responsibility of the municipality. This resolution has been presented by our city manager for our consideration. Are there any objections for us moving this forward? If being none, I ask that we move this MDOT performance resolution for municipalities forward. I think every municipality is doing such. And I thank you, City Manager, for bringing this to our attention and making sure that we're compliant with everybody else. It talks about issuing to municipalities permit for the use of state highway right-of-way and or annual application permit for miscellaneous operation within the state highway right-of-way.
Read here.
Any objections? All right, is there a consensus to move this forward?
Yes, move it forward.
Thank you. Number 3 is the ordinance to amend chapter 6, alcoholic liquors, to permit the creation of social districts and common areas and regulations thereof. I know that there's been hours of operation. It says social district 12 to 10, Sunday 12 to 5. Alcoholic beverage must be consumed or disposed of before leaving the social district boundaries. For concerns, please contact public safety. This is creation of a social district. It has boundaries not to impede drivers, pedestrians, common areas, which you can see, social districts, potential qualified license, applications, management, and all these different things that have been going on. Any questions, please come forward. Social districts have been established in Mason, Midland, Monroe, Montclair, Muskegon, Owego, Oakland County, Osceola, Otsego, Ottawa, Schoolcraft, St. Clair, St. Joe, Van Buren, Worcestershire, Lane County, Westford. You also have McBarian County, Bridgman has one, Buchanan has one, Niles has one, St. Joe City has one, Allegan, Ingham, Crawford, Jackson, Kalamazoo, Kent County, Owen County, Livingston County, Manistee, Marquette County. They all have it, all right? So, seen your hand, Commissioner.
Yeah, I see it now. I'll leave that question alone.
Can I ask one?
I don't want to miss it.
If I might, Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
just to kind of go over this briefly. What I'm asking is for this committee to move the project forward to the commission for action, but I wanted to just kind of walk through a little bit. There are 2 parts to this. One is the adoption of the ordinance amending our existing chapter, alcoholic liquors. And that also amends the language that's in there about not being able to take liquor outside and so forth. And then there's the resolution to establish and adopt the district and common areas. Included in the packet was a map showing the area that we're talking about. And it's consistent with what we previously discussed and talked about. As you said, a listing of other places that have them. A documentation regarding a maintenance and management plan. And we included even some samples of signs that would be used in the district and so forth. It was a considerable amount of work to pull and coordinate all of this together. And at the same time that I put this together also, I had already gone through previously a couple of meetings with Arts Council and the EDA. I shared a copy with them of what was being presented and asked them to review it, give any additional input, corrections, or anything that might need to be had. I also sent it to our city attorney, Sarah, who incidentally also handled the work that was done for the bridgeman. So it wasn't the first time that she's seen it. So with that, I'll be making some minor adjustments and whatnot, because she gave a couple of suggestions. One specifically about making sure that they have proper insurance, and also that they that we put language in it basically saying that we indemnify each other so that if something happens, they're not suits or whatever against us. I'll be doing that fine tuning before it goes to the commission, but it's nothing that, needs to delay or anything like that.
Thank you. Any questions from any, Commissioner Henry, you have the floor.
The clerk sent this out. This kind of information was not in my privy to me. I'm seeing it for the first time, and I'm thinking, whoever made the hard copies for us. So I'll be able to study it, hopefully. The other commissioners that are not here will be able to pull it up on their computers.
Yeah.
Hopefully, because this is something that we need to look at really close. I see that staff has really did a fine job of printing out information about this district. So we are asking, so I have some clarity, we're asking for a common space as well as a district. Am I correct?
And the answer is yes, but to describe what we're talking about delineating the area that's showing on the map as the district that's approved. Any persons who are taking advantage of the district, they're required to purchase their drink inside of one of the establishments that's within the district. They can walk outside and walk around anywhere within the district to stop and look at art or do whatever they want to do, but they can't go outside of that district with it. They will, their drink would be purchased in a plastic or paper cup.
And they have to have a sticker on it where it came from.
Right, that says where it came from, and it's all controlled within this. Now, the additions that you that are referenced there are just refinements, so to speak, because the other thing I'll also be doing between now and when this goes to commission is going over it also with staff with a fine tooth comb to make sure all the parties and everybody is fully up to speed. We'll be going with public safety and whomever else to make sure that everybody knows what is in it, what the rules are and so forth, because we're gonna have to oversee enforcing it and keeping it going the way it should be when it's done.
Thank you, Commissioner Henry.
Is there a cost to the city? Because I didn't see any reference to a cost to the city.
There are no costs to the city with the exception of the police
Signage.
covering it the way, the signage, that's gonna be covered by them. It's not gonna be as a matter of fact, Cornerstone's offered to help pay for the signage and so forth. So no cost except for picking up the trash.
Except for picking up the trash. Okay, And I guess because they're the economic development,
Yes,
that's why Cornerstone is so deeply involved in it?
yes.
Got the alley.
Okay.
They got the social alley where they're gonna be
Mhm.
doing,
Now-
Mary Poppins videos and all that.
When I looked at all of these other municipalities that have signed up for this, I think about some of the things that they said, that you cannot open into an alley or sidewalks or the right of way. You gotta make sure that those avenues are open. And I'm not seeing that in the map. Now, it might be premature that I'm not seeing it, but I'm not seeing it.
I'm not sure I'm understanding.
The rules say that you cannot open this designated outdoor liquid, alcohol. You cannot have it connected to an open alley, sidewalks, or right of way.
Yes, you can. As a matter of fact, you don't open liquor. You walk out of a establishment with it in an open cup with a sticker on it. And you can walk down the sidewalk, the alley, the whatever, as long as it's within the boundaries of this
You're
particular.
not walking down the street with a third.
Right, exactly.
I know that, I read that, but I also read that you cannot have this district open to an alley, sidewalk, or right of way. So I already know that you can't drink walking down the street. They don't stop them people, homeless people from doing it, but
You can walk down the street inside. the
inside
district.
that, okay.
And it can include an alley, sidewalk.
Well, per the state of Michigan, and I wish you would look it up, because I'm gonna go back and do some more research about the boundaries and where they can go.
But once it's deemed a social district, then that opens up it opens it up for the consumption.
And
I
as a matter of-
understand that, that's why it's an open district, so you can drink it out in public. I understand that, and I understand the premier, that you're gonna walk, and you gotta stay in that area. You cannot take your cup and step out of that area. I understand that.
Can't wait to see Dr. King down there with the.
Okay, so, I'll do some more research, and if you can reach out to whomever, and we definitely,
Dr. King on his birthday.
Actually, one of the reminders the city attorney sent to me is that we have to make sure that there are crosswalks for them to be able to walk across the street, where they're drinking within this, for their safety.
oh, yeah,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, okay.
Can't walk across the street to the park.
Yeah, I don't, I'm not saying that facetiously, but doing like Martin Luther King birthday. Is that part of the social district down by one of the King statue gonna be?
Not within the park,
Okay. If that had been so,
all around, but not within the park.
a hard time.
So when
Mr. Richard has the floor, he raises his hand.
Sorry.
Commissioner Henry?
So when I asked the citizens after reading it, what do you think about it? I got some response. Some said they didn't want it at all. Well, I don't want it at all. I don't want no drinking at all. So I listened to them. Some said they wanted to be a event by event basis. I just have to bring that out because that's what they said. So,
Why don't we do a town hall? Bring everybody together and see what they say.
I would like to know the reasons why they came up with that logic, like what's the thought process behind it?
what?
The citizens' comments. Like, did they give you any,
The event,
yeah, like,
yeah, he said that he didn't want us to have a free spirit out there for liquor. And that if it was an event for event, if it was just the event that you can't do that. And that's what his thought was. That still give everybody an opportunity, but it won't give a free reign of it. So that was his, and the other one, she just said she didn't want no drinking. You already got marijuana down there, and you already got them homeless people down there, and you can't stop them from doing what they're doing in the parks. Then now we're gonna open up more avenues, and I'm really glad to see that there's 7 businesses that came on board. I'm not trying to stop this. I'm just trying to make sure it does the right thing for the people. It is a they project.
Well, can we have a us project?
Mr. Duncan has the floor, and then after that, Commissioner Edwards.
Mr. Edwards, you can go ahead if you want to. Mine can wait.
You sure?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. That's why I love you. Only because you're human, that's it. I would just like to say on this part, it's toward the social district. It's a good thing to live in other places. And I don't know if you want to call it more updated or more residents or more minds or whatever. But on the economic side, it makes a lot of sense. And that's what I tell people when they ask me. And I get it for those who don't want drinking at all, because they probably don't drink. Or if they do, probably on a party and it's private. So I get that. You do have some that only want it on events, because I had some say, well, there should only be 4 of them, and they named the events. So I get that. There's a lot of people only go to church on Mother's Day, so I get that. But if you look at the economic development, if you just say we'll only do it event to event, how many events do we have a year? 3. Blossom Parade and the PGA, you can't count that because that's every other year. And the River Fest. That's it. So if we went to event, that's nothing. If we went holidays, you're only getting 4 out of the summer. But if you did it every day, and all these other places who signed on to it, and I can go all the way back to when I was a teenager in Chicago, I've seen social districts then. The amount of people who come to a store and shop, the amount of people that work, and the amount of people are just walking, it gathers their mind to say, oh, what is that? Or if they're in the store shopping, oh, I want to take a break, I need to get a beer. And they go there, and the next thing you know, they're at another store, or they're at another business, or they're telling their relatives, or if they're from out of town, they're making it a point to visit that spot. And if you figure out of every car on any given day, you're looking at $50 spent. That's just an average. So if you got 4 in a car, there's a possibility you'll get $200 out of that car. And that's on an everyday basis. So if you want it event to event, or you just want special holidays, or do you want that $50 every day? That depends on how we want it.
If I
Thank you,
can
Commissioner
add-
Edwards, that was excellent.
If I could add just something, a couple of years ago, I was over around Detroit, my wife and I, and we went in one of the communities just outside of Detroit on the north side up around Henry Ford Hospital. And I wasn't expecting anything to be there, but I come up on an area and I couldn't, the way they had it set up, I couldn't drive through it. I had to go around it. But we parked and was just curious, walked in there to see what was going on. And it was one of these districts. And there were people all over the place. They were walking around with drinks. They were talking, shopping. A lot of the businesses and restaurants had even set up outside where they could serve people and so forth. And I mean, the thing was just booming. And I mean, I'm just went in there just curious. Didn't mean to stay anymore, maybe 15, 20 minutes. wound up being in about 3 hours or better. And my wife had me loaded down like a mule with packages and stuff came out of there. This
Wish
is
I wouldn't have went that way, huh?
Yeah. But we had a really absolutely great time. And, you know, people, comments, they deserve to simply be respected, heard, and noted. But like Jerry said, people have comments on everything.
Everything.
And, you know, you make note of them and you move on. Nobody in their right mind is gonna put the kind of money out to do what's necessary to make one of these successful for event by event. That doesn't make any sense. I mean, after all, like I said, you've got a couple of pages, there are places that have been doing this for several years. And we need to try to reinvent the wheel.
Thank you. Mr. Duncan, and Commissioner at Large,
I want to hear what he has to say.
you want to hear what Commissioner at Large,
I just want to say that, me and Commissioner Edwards was in Muskegon,
Yes.
and they had, and I didn't know what was happening, people walking around, so I grabbed me a cocktail too, and wow, but the amount of people, tourists that comes to this city, you know, this thing is like from 12 to 10 and weekends. I think it's a great concept to, you know, people to look and enjoy our city, come and see what this city is about. And so how fast can this, if we vote on this Monday, how fast do it? I know they gotta get signage and garbage cans and stuff like that, so.
And they're ready to get started on trying to put all the pieces together immediately, just as quickly as possible. The very next step after the commission passes it is the clerk will forward the documentation to the state
Okay.
for them to certify. So in the meantime, we'd be putting everything together and try to get it out there. They're anxious to go.
just give us some time,
Yeah,
you'll be all
we got
right.
some art houses coming up.
Just trust the process.
And this is a great thing.
Great thing.
Great thing.
Great thing. Mr. Duncan,
Why can't we just extend that all the way around the river?
That's in the future.
No, I'm talking about for the citizens right now, because we get affected. We get a lot of, problems with the officers when you're drinking on the river. You guys about to legalize walking and drinking. Why not extend the river's front where you could, it's a walkway all the way past Tackle Haven.
I think we can adopt that in the future, can we, with the businesses?
Good
that-
possibility.
I just like,
That's the
I just-
plan.
y'all are cutting me
Good
off. Didn't I have
possibility.
3 minutes?
No, I'm sorry, go ahead, sir. I apologize.
I'm just speaking for the citizens, because everything you guys are directing things to is downtown. And it's like a lot of the citizens are just left out of the equation. And especially when it comes to making money, who's gonna benefit from it? All of y'all friends, because they the ones got it. I want our people to be able to do exactly the same thing on our side of Main Street. Now, if you guys don't understand that, don't want to do that, you can say it now. It'd be okay with me. I don't drink anymore, but I love to be able to sit on the river and fish and drink my beer if that's what I want to do, without the threat of being arrested, being ticketed, being beat up. So while you guys adding stuff up, add something up for the citizens that can benefit us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Duncan. I do
If I
agree.
might, could I just remind the group that the lady that came in here and spoke about this first was a minority woman, Miss Peoples?
Audrey.
Yep. as we
Hey,
started.
can we, just for 1 second, 1 second. I got notified that the owner of Bread Bar died. We have a moment of silence for him, just for 30 seconds if we could. You can let us know 30 seconds is over. The owner of Bread Bar had a heart attack,
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
and he deceased. Thank you. Yeah, he went to Arizona and didn't make it back. You know, his son they're still open right now, but he was one of the world's greatest bakers. He had medals and different things from baking and all those kind of things. So let's keep his family in our prayers. He did bring a business downtown to Benton Harbor. That business has been rather successful. Bread Bar, and he also had Bitter Swiss also in St. Joe. So Tim Foley, I think his name is. The son is still there. Yeah. So let us I want to do this, and I'm saying this as planning and economic development chair. Before I relinquish this to anybody, I do think we need to recognize the businesses that have stayed here, paid taxes here, have done right by the residents of Benton Harbor here. There's nothing wrong with us giving them a plaque or whatever. We have to, because everybody has to stay in the city of Benton Harbor. But we do need to appreciate those who have stayed in the city of Benton Harbor and have hired residents of Benton Harbor, have kept money in their pockets in the city of Benton Harbor. And we also need to recognize new business. When it comes to Benton Harbor, there's nothing wrong.
Recognition.
My grandmother, Bertha Seats, said something. She said, when somebody does something for you that they don't have to do, there's nothing wrong with saying thank you. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. So, people come and they don't have to come. You don't have to say thank you when somebody does right by you, but it's right to say thank you. So, is there anybody else who wants to say anything on this?
I do.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
I'm gonna talk about the environment. I want us to start, this should be our first start to look at the environment. From what I read, all the other municipalities said that they want them to have a see-through glass or cup so they could see what's in the cup. And most of the municipalities do that. But I want us to go a step further. If you look around the city now, you'll see bags and bags of plastic bottles just sitting in the yard, floating down the street. I would not like to see that again. I would like to see those cups being recyclable, eco-friendly, post where you can compost it. Don't know if they've thought about it, but it is something that we that are really interested in getting recycling done in Benton Harbor, that would be one of the first steps if our downtown DDA recognizes that. And so I'm counting that that we talk to them about it and they can do some research and get the best possible product for our environment.
Yep.
So we pass that along.
Please. And also Sweeney's Weenies, man. He also passed away. Man with Sweeney's Weenies. Hot dog cart right there on life is short, you know, nothing but a thing. Ms. Warren, you had,
Yeah, I was just gonna follow up to Commissioner Henry. You brought that up before, when Miss Audrey was here, I remember you said the same thing, so I don't know if we just have to follow up with her, because I think she was receptive to it. I don't know if they had further information, but I do remember when you brought up the recycling.
Yeah, we have to be good stewards of Mother Earth. That's what God wants us to do. And if it don't start with us, we'll have to answer to our grandkids. So,
compost is a lot. I mean, when you look at, that just adds to, if we can start recycling, maybe that'll be, something that, I remember we went to a recycling conference.
Yeah.
And,
well, we tried to get the city hall to just recycle its white paper, and that never happened.
Yeah, we need to start that, we have a recycling day. I know I take my papers over to somewhere and have them shredded. I shred them at the house or wherever else, but maybe we gotta let's get that ball back rolling with recycling.
You see those plastic bottles floating around in
Well,
big bags of them.
Problem I'm having is they got piles and piles of them at our church. Now they just keep dropping them off and bringing them and bringing them and bringing them.
There's nowhere to take
It's
them.
And then we-
contaminated now.
Then we gotta do what we gotta do from parishioners, 'cause nobody's paying for us to get rid of them. So we take them to another place and have somebody dispose of them. I promise you right now, I got 20 bags of empty bottles. Somebody's dropped off. There's nowhere to go.
There was a story on ABC this morning about the recycling of plastic. And unfortunately, it wasn't a very good story, because what they were saying is that people are collecting them and going through all of the process as if it's for recycling, but there's no place really to recycle them, except that some are shipped to other countries where they're burning them and not recycling, and then some here in this country. But we're certainly, the way we've talked about this being done, we'll have one source purchase all of the 16-ounce smaller things, and I believe in the regulations say no glass, and as you say, it has to be seen through, which kind of eliminates some of the paper and stuff. It makes you have to go to plastic. We can certainly get recyclable ones and try to capture them in the containers and so forth, but beyond that, we can try.
I was just gonna say, there's a brewery I know, can't think of the name of it right now, but up near Saugatuck, they use a cup that is compostable. It's made by a Kalamazoo company. I can't tell you the name of that either, but I can share the details. If you have 15 bags of bottles, Orchard Hills takes mixed recycled metal, paper, plastic, all together, same bin.
Just drop it off.
And we all know where that is, Waterville area. So
Just drop it off and they take it free of charge.
you have to stuff it in their bin, which has fairly large openings. We should all be aware of that. Please speak about it at the commission meeting. I'll fill you in.
Absolutely.
All right, so take it there and you just have to stuff it and it's free.
Correct.
Okay.
For city residents, county residents.
If you can get that information to us,
I will do that.
we'll put it on if you can get that to the clerk, matter of fact, and then we'll put up some, I'll put up some signs, whatever we gotta do. Even we'll bring it to the, second ward town hall meeting. And, thank you.
One more thing, I have to remind the commission and the residents that this is another reason why we need a newsletter. To get this kind of information out to people that are not on the internet, that are not of,
Paid $40,000 for one. I didn't pay 40. No.
well, now we're looking at other avenues, but, if you don't wanna do 40,000, then let's come up with, and me and Mr. Little is looking at a couple of other avenues. But month after month after month, the information is not getting out. It is not getting out. We cannot even, some people can't go to the website because they don't know how.
Can I agree with you on something? That we spent a lot of money on technology, and what we got in return has been nothing. People complain about watching us on Monday nights, and when
It's
I'm
hard.
talking, it's looking at you and Commissioner Warren. And when y'all talking, they look right here. And when they're talking down there, they're still looking down there.
It's horrible.
And I mean that. It's supposed to be voice activated. The camera there's supposed to be voice activated, and they're supposed to move wherever the voice is. But the difference is the voice goes where the speaker is. It's not going where actually it's supposed to go. So on Monday night, when they say Mayor Pro Tem is looking at you, and then when
I'm aware of that, and
and then when somebody else is talking, it's looking at somebody else.
they're supposed to tweak it very soon,
That's
from my
right.
understanding. They're coming it back in. It took us a month or 2
Well, the
months
price
to
we
even
paid should
pay
change.
them. So
Price
that's
we
why they're
paid.
dragging their feet.
Price we paid should have came with a person.
But it did, but the last payment, it took us over 2-3 months to pay them. So that's why we're on their bottom of the list, because they didn't get their money within 3 months. We have a 30-day, but they didn't get theirs in time. And so they put us on the back burner.
I'll share this with you. Working for anybody that works for somebody who tears something out, even if you get a security guard system or security system, one thing you do, you take the old out and then you replace it with the new. The camera shouldn't even be up there. That old camera that's sitting right there, it's not connected, it's not doing anything. And it's still there. There's
That's a new
things,
camera.
It's a new camera.
no. To the right, to the left.
Yep, it matches what's behind you.
Those all new.
Well, no, it's not moving.
That one doesn't move.
It
It
will.
don't work.
It will.
No,
All right,
that one does not move.
That one don't.
it don't work.
But that one upstairs.
That's
Yeah,
what,
it
that's what you
works.
see. That's what you see when you're looking
So
at the
what
screen. That's
happened
how you
with-
see the desk.
All right, so what happened with the rotating camera?
It's, has to do with the sound coming out of the speakers.
So how do they switch them off?
That's what they've got to work on.
So when it's rotating, then which one is working?
Because sometimes you'll watch it on YouTube, and sometimes you can see the audience, and sometimes you can't.
That's new from there.
I can guarantee that one ain't working.
I don't know. I just know sometimes you can see the audience.
We are,
Sometimes-
we are.
Well, it's almost my birthday is 7/26 this time.
Your birthday day?
No, it's not today.
At 7:26.
It's 7/26.
You weren't going to no 49, quit it.
I'm
7/26, 1970.
54, 6:54.
And this
All right, let's go.
I got some info on Sweeney. So I talked to the son Monday, and I talked to him, the son, the daughter, and the mother. They are planning on opening Sweeney's back up mid-May.
Sweeney's Wings.
Sweeney's
Oh,
Wings.
just the weenie part.
That's the only part he had.
Yeah, the biggest, what is
I thought
Sweeney
the
Wings.
Hawk- I thought the Hawk was his.
No, that's Brian's.
Oh,
Brian Suppleman.
Yeah,
Sweeney Wings had the hot dog cut outside.
okay.
yeah, that was it, just the hot dog. Yeah, a lot of people thought he
Everybody,
was,
God bless, good night. Sweeney's
Oh,
return.
yes.
Thank you.
and then they say I was hawking that.
Yeah.
We know better than that.